Coach Robert Saleh would not commit to a starting quarterback for Sunday's game against the Bears. What would I do? Well, let's talk about it. Well, welcome back to New York Sports WickerMedia. I'm Wat2K99. Thank you, as always, for taking the time to watch these videos. If you enjoy what you're watching, please do me a favor, hit that thumbs up. Want to grow this channel, want to get as many subscribers as possible. I love making the content, and I love that you take the time to watch it. Now, I didn't record a video right after the Jets-Patriots game on Sunday because I was so disgusted and I had so many different emotions going through me. I wanted to take 24 hours and just kind of let everything marinate. I saw a lot of overreaction on Jets Twitter. I know it's shocking that Jets fans could overreact, especially on social media. I know I'm breaking some new ground with that one. But I wanted to just kind of go through the different scenarios, go through where this team really is, and figure out what to do with this team going forward, especially on offense. Now, we know the defense is a championship caliber defense. I think there are some things that they could have done better on Sunday against the Patriots, particularly some open field tackling and handling short passes, defending screens. They still have not shown the ability to do that. Great as the pass rush was, I wasn't thrilled with what I saw, especially from the run defense, making plays in coverage. I didn't like it. But the defense can absolutely do the job fine. Special teams have been good. I know they failed on that one punt, but all in all, I'd say the Jets have a pretty solid special teams unit. But what everybody is talking about, everybody and their brother, all they want to talk about is Zach Wilson and the quarterback position. What should the Jets do with Zach Wilson? Should they bench him? Should they play him? Is he a bust? Is he just not, does he just need to grow up? Is it physical? Is it mental? What is the problem? Here's my 2 cents on exactly where Zach Wilson is and what I want to see going forward. I think he's just an immature kid who doesn't know how to handle this, and he is not getting the coaching that he needs from a mental perspective, not just physically. I mean, going through reads, plays, that's one thing. This coaching staff, I believe, could teach him all the plays in the world. This kid is not right mentally. And we saw that at the press conference when he defied his responsibilities, when he was asked, do you feel you let down your defense? And he said no. I appreciate the idea that he's telling the truth in his own mind, but that's the situation. Zach, there is a time when you have to lie constructively. I don't advocate for lying as a general rule of thumb in life, but there are just times when you have to lie to save yourself and prevent more troubles. And he didn't know well enough to do that. If it was a situation where this team stunk, if this was last year's caliber of team, I absolutely would say you play Zach Wilson the rest of the season, you continue to evaluate, you figure out where he is at the end of the season. I am not going to jump on board with these people who just are ready to throw him out just because he's struggled against Bill Belichick. Because his only 2 legitimately bad games have been against the Patriots. Okay, that's one thing. But what I would do on Sunday when the Jets host the lousy Chicago Bears, who have basically one great, I'm not even going to call him a great player, one dynamic player. Oh, and that one dynamic player, quarterback Justin Fields, has a dislocated left shoulder. I've had a separated shoulder, and I was practically immobile, and a dislocation, I can tell you, is worse. It may not be his throwing arm, but it is definitely going to limit him. What I would actually do for this game, I would start Mike White. I am not a Mike White fan, okay? I did not buy the Mike White jersey after the game against Cincinnati. This also does not mean I want Zach Wilson benched for the rest of the season. It does not mean I think Zach Wilson is a bust right now. He's basically played the equivalent of one NFL season. But the one problem that I have is where he is mentally. That's my fear. I think he is overthinking things, and the fact that he did what he did in the press conference, I think his teammates are starting to question it. And this is a team that has the potential to make the playoffs and do something. If they don't believe in the quarterback, they're done. They can only go so far. This is not a team that is going to make the playoffs if the offense does anything near what it did. How is it possible? And I know I'm going to go on a tangent or two here, but how is it possible the offense could run the ball down the throat of the Buffalo Bills on that last drive, just absolutely dominate them? But against the New England Patriots, they are averaging 3 yards per run in these 2 games. They couldn't run the ball to save their lives. Zach Wilson was the team's leading rusher with 26 yards in the game. And I think just about all of those yards came in the first quarter. That is inexcusable. So the way that I'm looking at this, his teammates are starting to question him. You could hear it in the press conferences. You can sort of read into a liked tweet. Little things like that, that passive-aggressive sending a message. That's all that is. Because if the rest of the team is going to be down on Zach, if they don't believe in him, that is going to affect how they play. And the culture that Joe Douglas and the rest of the Jets are so high on, it's going to start to disintegrate. And it cannot get any worse than it is right now. The Jets have created a good mindset throughout the locker room. Very few flare-ups at all. I mean, Elijah Moore has been probably the biggest issue. But if they can't figure out what they're doing at quarterback, this whole thing is going to splinter. It's going to fly apart. And if it gets like this, if it stays like this team in my mind is going to win maybe 8 games. So 2 more games the rest of the season. Maybe, because the defense is good enough to win games on their own. So I would start Mike White. Let's see how he does. Because you know, if Zach Wilson starts this game, the first incomplete pass, that is his fault. You're going to hear the boo birds. And you're going to hear the Mike White. Mike White. You know how this is going to go. The Jets fans are going to be going to MetLife Stadium this Sunday ready to kill him, ready to throw him out onto the New Jersey Turnpike. I honestly wish the Jets had a road game this Sunday. I really, really do. So you know what? I would start Mike White. Because of where Zach is mentally, I think he needs a week to sit down, watch, hold a clipboard, and shut up. That's what I think he needs to do. And I would continue to play Mike White as long as they win. You can always go back to Zach. You're not benching him for the season. But at this point, you cannot have him be the main reason, not the sole reason. Okay? There are a number of reasons the Jets lost that game. It wasn't just on the quarterback, despite what the simpletons will tell you. Okay? The run game failed, and in my mind, the tackling completely failed. The offensive line stunk. All of that had a lot to do with it. But yes, Zach is the main reason. So start Mike White, bench Zach for this week. You can always bring him back. But this is a team that can go somewhere. And you cannot have the quarterback be the reason that it fails. My early thoughts on the Bears game, I'm going to say this right now. If they lose this game, if they drop to 6-5, they're not making the playoffs. They're not. I know this is an NFC game, but now the Jets are going to be behind the tiebreaker when it comes to New England and Cincinnati. To me, the division's dead. It's absolutely dead. I don't care that they're 1 game back. They are not winning the AFC East. It is out of the question for me. I think it's done. But they can still get a wild card berth. They still have about a 50 to 55% chance of winning a wild card berth, depending on what website or what source you go to. But the Bengals have a brutally hard schedule. The Patriots have a brutally hard schedule. The Chargers are still a team that does concern me. But you have got to win this game before you play Buffalo on the road, before you go to Minnesota, and so on. So this game is huge, and the fact that Justin Fields is going to, at the very least, be injured. I expect him to play. Okay, I don't think the Bears are going to start Trevor Siemian at quarterback. But you cannot let this game get out of hand on Sunday. You have got to get ahead early. You have to start strong and keep the crowd in it, because right now, despite 2 games ago was that amazing win against Buffalo, this loss to New England has a lot of us shaken up, me included. There is no team in sports I hate more than the New England Patriots. The only one that comes close is probably the Atlanta Braves. It's an either-or with those 2 franchises. Well, I want to hear from you. Let me know in the comments, if it was up to you, who do you want to see the Jets start at quarterback? Do you want to start Zach, maybe give him a short leash? Do you want to ride it out with Zach? Start Mike White or start Joe Flacco or even Chris Trevler? I want to know how you feel. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you back here with more content from you know where, the Wicker Chair.